I am not above editing this in a way that makes it look like Nikolai and Rostrum are like top of your lists.
So now we're gonna question the integrity of our episodes? That's nice to know, Mark.
You should, because I'm not above doing this. And welcome back to another episode of Romancing the Monsters. I'm Em.
Hi, I'm S.
I'm Seth.
And this week we are going back to the Immortals After Dark world with...
Finally!
Yeah, with Demon from the Dark by Cressley Cole. This is the book about Malcolm and Carrow, which I feel... like, Seth has been, like, really excited for us to read for a while. Or at least, like, you've been asking about Carroll for a while, I feel like.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the whole arc of this, like, situation, like, the order and all of that, like, I just love the books with that situation going on in the background. Yeah, I love the arc of the story.
All right. So, what is this book about, Seth?
Okay. So it starts off with a flashback from Malcolm and how he became a vemon, you know, a scarba, as they're called. Is that how you pronounce it in the audiobook?
Scarba.
I don't remember that word being pronounced in the audiobook.
No?
Okay.
Vemon. Let's just say vemon.
Yeah, a vemon. So a vampire/demon. He was turned by this viceroy who was a vampire who took over the demon plane that he was living in. And Trothan demons became, which is like his species, became like slaves and like served the vampires until his, you know, the prince, you know, did his thing and like, you know, had some sort of leadership role there. Anyway, so they were caught by this guy named Roneth who becomes like a villain. Like, you know, he's just a general in the army. Was that his job? I don't even remember. It wasn't important. Anyways. His friend Callan, whatever the heck his name is, and Malcolm both get turned into Scarba, vemons, and then Malcolm kills his best friend after he tried to drink from him, and then we end up in the present, and then that's when we meet Carrow, who is forced to go to the Trothan world to find and bring Malcolm back for the Order to study and kill. And so the Order, we find out, is an organization of humans who believe that the creatures from the lore were miscreations. Like they weren't, like they're just abominations basically. And they want to like destroy them. Some want to study, but like we meet Chase and he really just wants to kill them all. And yeah, so she ends up there because she was promised her freedom as well as her niece, who somehow becomes her like adopted daughter in a way. They were promised their freedom in order to bring Malcolm back to the Order. She finds him and he doesn't speak English, but he recognizes her as his mate and his bride because he would have, you know, both since he is a vampire and demon. And anyways, it's a very like sweet story in the sense where like he doesn't speak her language, she doesn't speak his, and like they have to find a way to like communicate and like become one. But she makes him promise not to have sex with her as well as drink her blood after the first 2 times because she's afraid of him realizing that she's actually going to betray him through her memories. And yeah, it just, that's our story until, you know, he ends up back, he decides to come back to her plane, so our world. And he finds out that she also betrays him alongside, you know, he was betrayed by his mom. She sold him into slavery. He was betrayed by his master who like turned him out because he became too old to, you know, have sex with and drink his blood. He was betrayed by his mother again. And like now it turns out he was betrayed by his mate. That's what else should I say about it? I was trying to keep it short.
No, I think you kind of...
That's enough.
Okay. And yeah, he just needs to find a way to trust and, believe in her affection once again.
Yeah.
And that's where we are. There you go. Short and
So,
sweet.
how did you feel about this book, S?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't think it was like my top.
There's like a question mark at the end of that
Yeah.
sentence.
I don't think it was my top favorite. I liked it, and there were moments that I loved, but it wasn't a bad book for me.
All right. M?
I enjoyed it. I would say that, like S, this is not a favorite of mine by any stretch of the imagination, just because I think personally, and this is really like personal taste, but I would have preferred, or I would have expected, a darker love story for a character like Malcolm. And I like that he's sweet, and I'm not against it, but for me to be excited about this sort of storyline, I would have preferred for him to be a little bit darker, and for their love story to be a little bit more ambiguous and like dark, because that would have made me excited.
That's interesting.
I was lacking the excitement here. Also, I feel like I never fully connected with their love story. Like I there was just something missing for me in there. Like I enjoyed the action, like Cressley Cole is really good at that. And like I wasn't bored. It's just she's good. Like I don't think Cressley Cole can write a bad book, but I just didn't quite connect with the characters and their love story.
That's interesting, because for me, I think the story worked in the sense where I liked that he was like a innocent, basically a boy craving love, and I loved that aspect, just like, because of his situation, because of everything that he's been through in his past, that it made him yearn for that love, yearn for that acceptance from someone, and like he would do whatever he could to get it. And once he finally got it, he thought that was it. Like he just wanted a family, and like the softness of him and like the softness of the story, I think really matched his character, as well as like I believed in him being a lighter character.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying it didn't make sense. I'm saying that personal preferences, I don't love characters like that. I just happen to love my man a little bit darker, a little bit more troubled when it comes to people with a past like Malcolm. Like, I do love a sweet character, but just because of like his past and stuff, I would have like I got excited for that, hoping he would be a little bit more beastly. And he wasn't really. So that's just that, like I'm not saying it didn't fit this character. As just
Do you think maybe it was kind of like the tone of the story that kind of, because he had a dark past and it was really sad, but for me there was parts where it felt kind of light. Like he had a dark past, but then there were moments where they were like kind of funny. And
I don't know, maybe. You know what I'm like, I just thought about something, and I think that the difference here is maybe because like my first thought when you said that was I thought about Rydstrom and Sabine. And the first thing I thought about was how they can still have those light moments, but they are still very complex characters who have, ambiguous like make ambiguous decisions and such. Whereas I wasn't really getting that with these characters. I feel like they were a little bit more one note for me. Like I was lacking a little bit of depth in these characters that I feel like I got in other characters throughout the series. So maybe that's what was missing for me to really get sucked into this story.
No, I kind of see where you're coming from. Because I don't know, I feel like their story started, but we never really got to see it further develop, because it started, yes, on whatever, I don't know what it's like, the Trothan plane, I don't know what his demon world is called, and then obviously it has to rebuild itself once they get back to our world, so we never really get to see more of them in the sense of like past their beginnings.
Yeah, and maybe that's also the risk of having a relationship start with two people that can't actually understand each other, which is a trope I usually love, but I can fully admit that because they can't actually understand each other, sometimes it does make the romance feel a little bit more one note, because it's like so much of it is surrounded by the fact that they can't understand each other, and that's so much the focus that sometimes they don't actually connect as people as much because they're just, we got to figure out how to speak to each other, and you know what I mean, like it's very base level type of conversations, and like just I don't know, do you like am I making
No, I
sense?
get what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay.
No, because they spent majority of that book, I would say, not understanding each other until, you know, we got to the order.
And like their conversations are like, okay, here's how to write home. Do you want sex? No, no sex. Sex? No, no sex. Like blood? No, no blood. Like it's very like compared to other books where the characters are actually discussing things, like it does feel a little bit less.
Yeah. And once we finally got to that point where they could communicate fully and actually understand each other, and they got their pasts of one another, I feel like the book had already ended. Like the story was like the book was done. So for me, I still enjoyed it the second time around, but there were some notes of Carrow's character that I wasn't really liking, which was shocking because I actually loved her character the first time around. And yeah, one being how she looked at Malcolm at the beginning and for past half of the book. Like that was just one thing that was rubbing me the wrong way. And like because like he couldn't understand her, she just went off and like talked about like his flaws and like the things that he was lacking, and because he couldn't really understand her, he didn't really know what she was saying. And like she even compared you know, like her mate to Mariquetta's and like wishing that she had someone that was kind of like Bowen and all that stuff. But I mean, like I think at that point it was just because like he had betrayed her in the sense where like he drank her blood despite her saying he couldn't. But I don't know, I just feel like it kind of rubbed me the wrong way because Malcolm is such a sweetheart and like he doesn't know anything else, and she just looks at him as lacking. But of course like her opinion changes later on in the book, but I just didn't like how that carried on for so long.
How did you feel about Carrow as?
I liked her. I felt like I felt like she was, I don't want to say fun, but I don't know, I liked her character, but I don't know. I mean, that's all I can say.
No, I agree. Despite what I just said, I think her character was really interesting because of her past and also what she does. So obviously we find out that she is very much neglected by her rich parents, and like she does whatever she can to get noticed by them, and that includes, you know, streaking down the street in New Orleans, that includes getting arrested, like doing all these things because like she's known as like the fun witch. But like I love that there was a deeper meaning for all of that.
But I also feel like we didn't see that in this book.
Because we saw it in the other books.
Yeah, but I was kind of hoping we would see a little bit more of that side of her. Like, I don't know. To me, it was like she just switched out of nowhere and became like Mother Carrow. You know what I mean? Like, responsible Carrow. And I just felt like there was a disconnect there for me between who she was and before and who she is now, which I understand that who she was before was in part because of just trying to prove to her parents that, like, see, I'm such a bad child because that's what you wanted me to be or whatever, you know what I mean? I don't know, though. There was a disconnect there for me with her character. I don't really know how to feel about her.
So can we agree that she wasn't like our top favorite?
Yeah, no, I think that's for now. Yeah, she's not one of my top characters, but I also think like for me, I think why that switch happened that quickly is because one, we've seen her, you know, do her thing already in the previous books. We've known that she was pretty, like, she was a wild child. Two, the switch happened in my eyes, in my perspective, so quickly is because, like, I think she wanted that. She yearned for that belonging as well, like Malcolm did, which is why I think they kind of, like, connected in that sense. She wanted a family. Like, we've seen it in the past, in her memories, that she wanted acceptance, and she found a family with Ruby, and she's like, all right, I'll latch on to this because I've always wanted that family, and I'll be the mother that I never had. And, like, I don't know, I just felt like she was just someone that was yearning for, like, an acceptance in the world, and she finally found it in Ruby, and then later on in Malcolm. That's how I saw it.
And I kind of like the fact that regardless of the past that she had with her parents, I mean, she was able to accept Ruby, you know, because if you have a past where you're neglected, and I don't know, I feel like that carries on and kind of affects your future relationships, you know?
I do think that this story had characters that didn't match, I wouldn't say the cliche, like the stereotype. You know, like, you would expect Carrow to be unwanting of children because of her own past. You'd expect Malcolm to be a darker character that, you know, cannot, like, deal or, like, is very much angry and, like, ferocious most of the time because of, like, who he was, his upbringing, and, like, just the world that he lived in. But, like, they very much kind of opposed the stereotypes or, like, what we thought they would be, at least in my perspective. And, yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I liked the story as it was. But delving deeper, I think, yeah, we could see that it's not as, I don't know what the word is, but not as developed, I guess we could say, or
in depth
as the other ones. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, and what about Malcolm? How did ya feel about him?
Hey, baby!
I actually really love Malcolm.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I love the whole caveman.
You know who he reminds me of?
Who?
The Blue Aliens.
Yeah.
He kind of gave
Oh.
me that vibe of like this big guy that's a little beastly, very alone and seeking a female, and then like he can't actually communicate with his female, and like all he wants is just to mate her, but she's like, bitch, no. Like I don't know why, because like that comparison came to me when Seth was talking about the blurb, like the overall plot of the book. Like I was like, oh my god, this kind of sounds like the Blue Aliens, like minus the whole betrayal plot, obviously.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
he would. I feel like he would be friends with the Blue Aliens.
Yeah.
He probably would. I love him. He's so adorable. Like, he's like, it's so unexpected because, like, obviously of his past, but also what he looks like. This man is like a hulking giant.
7 foot tall.
With
uh,
big ass muscles, four
yeah,
fangs,
horns,
piercings in places.
piercing in interesting
the
places.
piercing? Can we talk
So, yeah, I
about
was
that?
not
Four.
expecting a baby.
I expected you as to when you got to that part to come into the chat and say 4, and you didn't, and I was really
I know.
didn't know.
I was disappointed because I was gonna message because Marge messaged me like on the side and said, "Watch, I bet you she will come in and say 4," and then you didn't.
She never did. She let me down like that.
I enjoyed that, and I just kept it to myself. And
I was kind of disappointed that the piercings weren't mentioned in
the sex.
their actual sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I expected it to, feel some type of way. Like, what's the
me too.
point?
Four.
What was the
Four
point of them?
piercings, I think, would
Yeah.
feel something. You would feel.
Yeah,
something.
okay, so
Of
the
course.
thing is, listeners, that our man Malcolm has 4 piercings in a neat little line down his shaft.
Yeah.
And I was very intrigued. I was like,
So
oh
was
my
I.
god. I kind of lost my shit a little bit. And then I went into her chat and I was like, 4. But yeah, like Steph said, unfortunately that never came into play really.
Yeah.
I know. His nipple
So.
piercings did though.
Yeah, those were mentioned a couple times.
Hmm.
Anyway, so Malcolm has a very dark past. I felt bad for him. So like essentially he was both a blood slave but like a sex slave as well to a male master. And there was this scene, I think it's when Carrow is like taking a bath or something, and like she touches his shaft. She touches
From
his dick.
behind.
And he goes soft. He goes flaccid right away just because she touches him. And I thought, okay. And I think this is where my expectations sort of started changing for Malcolm. Like I was like, oh, is he gonna like actually struggle with this?
Yeah.
Because I was like, he gets flaccid right away, which I love because it makes sense, right? Like he's probably only ever been touched, whether it was like in pain or by someone he didn't want to be touching him. But then that again never really came back, I would say.
I think in that sense, I think it was the position of where she was and like how it was happening. Like, he couldn't see her, and she was touching him from behind.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the only way his master and, like, his friends had touched him. So I think that's why he went flaccid. It wasn't because, like, he couldn't get hard, because, I mean...
No, he did get
mates,
hard. He had no issues with that.
Yeah, the men in Cressy Cole series, like, they're always, you know, dry humping
hard.
Everything.
Yes.
So that isn't the issue.
That's why they're so stupid. Their entire blood is pumping somewhere else.
That giggle.
I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're not.
Yeah.
But for me, that's what I thought it was. Just, like, the positioning of her and, you know, how she went about touching him.
Yeah. No, okay, that makes sense. I can see that. I got excited for that because I was like, okay, so we'll have, like, a male character that actually struggles with this. Interesting.
That's
you know?
why you need to read my man Zadis
Lothair?
in the Black Dagger Brotherhood.
Oh, Zadis. Okay, yes. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll get there eventually. Yeah. In J.R. Ward's series, which I have not started. So, yeah.
What did you girls think about the Order? Because it was your first real experience with them.
Declan
and your first
Chase. Can we just
exposure.
talk about Declan Chase?
Oh, sure.
Hello,
I have
sir.
questions.
Hello.
I know. Declan.
He's the one with the gloves, right? The one that gave the order, right?
He's slightly evil, and let me just tell you, I got really excited for him.
Slightly evil? Mark, just try hella evil.
Girl. He is over there just, like, torturing all the lore people, like, all the ones that, like, we know and love. Like, Reagan. Oh!
Yeah.
Can I tell you I'm excited for that book?
That was the book I was dying to read in the series, and I had to read all 10
now.
books up until that book, and I love that book.
So wait. Question. You don't have to add this, but this Declan,
Declan is Aiden reincarnated.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Aiden is Reagan's mate.
Okay. I'm excited.
So, like, he's torturing his own mate, which he knows, right? Like, he's doing this on purpose. Or does he not know?
You have to read it. I'm not going to spoil it. I love that book. It's so good. I think it'll feed you that dark, delicious goodness that you want.
Also, what's his name? Hold on. When Thronos, is that how you pronounce that?
Thronos.
Oh, yes. Yes.
When he's getting, like, dragged back to his cell, and, like, his wings have been clipped or whatever. He's been tortured by Declan. And, like, he sees Lenthy, and he's like, soon. I was, like, losing my shit. I was like,
no, I'm telling you, the next few books are so good.
I mean, honestly, I think this is also why I wasn't as excited about this book, because it made me too excited about other couples.
Because, they introduced all the other couples, basically. Yeah.
So I was just too excited for all the other couples. I was like, why am I reading about Carrow and Malcolm? Like, you're cute, but, like, Declan.
Yeah. You know? Because I think they needed a way to, like, shift into the new arc of the story. And this was the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't as excited for Lanthy's and her angel.
You're not as excited?
No, I wasn't in the
Okay.
But now with this book, like, I'm really, like, I even went into Goodreads to see when the next book is, you know, when her book is. And I feel like it's, like, further down.
Yeah.
It's, like, further away, huh?
Her book. It's book
like 13 or something like that.
It's a while, because, like, Ilium, so McReeve also was mentioned in this. You saw him too.
Was he?
Yeah, he was one of the werewolves that were captured, and that was the cousin Gareth was telling Mariquetta to find.
Yeah, okay.
So he was also mentioned, and, like,
Lothair was also present, and, like, all this shit was happening because of him, because he stole that goddamn stupid ass ring.
Yeah.
But, like, guys, can you not think, like,
what?
Like, isn't he, like, I don't know, I just love him.
I mean, I'm not sure I know what you're talking about.
Okay, I was just referring to the whole idea that, like, he took the ring, but, like, he knew he was, like, you know, just biding his time because he knew La Dorada was.
I mean, he is stupid and reckless, but, like.
But, like, he knew, like, he'd get out sooner or later because of La Dorada.
I mean, I know he's not doing anything, you know, that's not on purpose, but also I'm just curious because I'm like, who the fuck what kind of woman is gonna end up with this man? Like, I just want to know, because, like, right now, he just seems like the kind of man who has no time for that. You know what I mean? Like, he's just causing mayhem around the world.
I know,
That's
and
his
I love
plan.
to see it.
Have we met his potential mate yet?
Have we?
No.
Okay.
It's not going to be La Dorada, right?
I don't know.
You know what? I thought about that, too. I was like, what if she's, like, somehow she comes back to life as, like, some kind of beautiful woman and he, like, falls for her or whatnot? I don't know. I thought about that.
Yeah.
That one, yeah, I actually, as I was reading that, I was kind of thinking, I was like, whoa, what if?
Yeah.
I already spoiled, so it's not La
She
Dorada.
was scary. No. Can we talk about that? She was scary. Like, the noises she made in the audiobook.
The audiobook, yeah.
Really?
Oh my god, it was scary. She was like, Greg.
You did it perfectly.
Call me. I'll do the audiobook.
Yeah.
No, she was scary. I that was wild. That whole part of the book where they're stuck inside the thingy and like she's coming and everyone's like scared shitless and like we gotta go now and like things are falling apart and like it was intense. It was intense.
Yeah. And like it's not really a spoiler, but like you get that from different perspectives. Like it like
well,
it's done so well.
Like Reagan, where the fuck is Reagan? She disappeared. I was like, I'm sure we're gonna revisit this moment.
Yeah.
So, and Lengthy also. I'm sure she'll
when
probably...
Thronos dragged her out and she's like, it's okay, just go save Ruby.
Yeah. I'm excited.
The first time I read that.
I just hope. Blink twice if this happens, but I just hope that Cressley Cole delivers on the darkness with some of these characters. Like, I don't want all of them to be soft.
What am I blinking once for yes?
Blink twice if no. So blink once if yes. Okay, so she blinked once. Cause that's a thing with her that I've noticed. It's like, while she has darker characters, they kind of tend to go soft quickly with some of the earlier ones.
Okay, I'm not spoiling anything, but Mick Reeves' book, like, it's borderline abusive.
From, like, McCreeve is, or his girl?
Yeah. In terms of, like, his story, which, like, the first time I had issues reading it, but then the second time around I loved it a lot because I understood a lot of it more the second time around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lothair's darkness though is pretty much prevalent. I'm not even gonna lie. I like his book. I'm selling too much of this book.
Because it's just, she got me excited with Rystrom and Sabine, because I saw what she can do when she lets her characters be a little bit more ambiguous and dark, and I'm like, please give me more of that, you know? Like, we've had enough soft, funny characters, I feel like, in the series.
Yeah.
I'm ready to embark on, like, a different kind of, you know, journey.
I will say the next books are dark. But some of them, I'm trying to think.
I'm a hoe for this.
I'm just trying to think. I don't want to spoil things, but the next book with Reagan and
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love it. It's so good. Like, I don't even want to spoil it. I think we should just jump into that book. Like, that's just
it's interesting though. So he's human. As Declan Chase, he's human, right? Or did I get that wrong?
Yeah.
As Aiden, what was he then?
He was a berserker, right? Or no, he was working to become a berserker.
And what is a berserker exactly?
It's like a warrior, an immortal warrior.
Immortal.
Yeah. But he
now
was
he's
human,
mortal.
but I think he was trying to earn his berserker status, if I recall correctly.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because I just love that dynamic, because obviously, yes, Chase was like the one that captured her and, like, you know, tortured her.
Yeah.
And tortured literally everyone there, even my man Lothair. So it's just like, how does he come back from that? Can he come back from that?
Didn't he cut her open?
Vivisect. That happened to her.
What the fuck is a vivisection? Can someone explain that to me? I'm not a medical person.
Do you want me to explain it, or do you want to just read it in her book?
All right, I'll just read it. To be honest, I got the book from the library. I was like, this is
Did you start it already?
No, because I'm reading Mercy Thompson, but that's my next read.
Okay.
So maybe I'll probably start it tonight.
Yeah. I kind of want to read it again now, too.
You know what?
What?
Lothaire's book is actually quite long, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like 17 hours. I was like, whoa, this is a departure from the previous books that, you know, have been a little bit shorter. So,
Oh, damn. So they're getting longer.
Yeah.
They are.
But Reagan and Chase, their book is also pretty long.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Like 500 pages or so.
Yeah. So, yeah.
It's exciting to me because, like, as much as I love Cressley Cole, it's like when her stories are short, I do feel like you're missing out on some character development sometimes. So to see that they're getting longer and for you to say that the characters are getting darker.
I mean, my version of darkness might be a bit different than yours. I don't know. I'm just, from what I'm saying and from what I recall from those books, I do think they will deliver on the darkness.
Okay. I mean,
like
anything that's
scale?
more than what we've gotten so far, I'll be pleased, to be honest. Like, I just want something that's, like, even someone could say that Rydstrom and Sabine were not really dark, but you know what I mean? Like, it was a little bit more interesting in some of the scenes.
I think the dynamics for each couple going forward are, it's complex. They're complex dynamics between the characters, which I think kind of resembles Rydstrom and Sabine in the sense where, like, they were also complex in their dynamic and it wasn't as black and white as other things.
And, like, they did pretty messed up things to each other. That's kind of what I want. Like, I want characters that do terrible
going
things
off of what
to
you already
each
know, Reagan and Chase already did messed up things. Well, he did messed up things to her. So.
I mean, S would probably say that Bowen's bitch ass.
That was a horrible, I think that was the most horrible thing these characters have done is fucking Bowen.
What did you guys think of Mariketta's presence in this book? Because she was pretty prevalent in this book.
She was. I'll let S go because she's one of her favorites. So
yeah.
Well, I was excited that we got to see a lot of the old characters. Like, that was a favorite
Bowen?
scene. Yeah. I hate Bowen, but I fucking love him.
Bowen is just so unapologetically himself in this book. I feel like he's just the overprotective werewolf husband, and I was like, "Hello, Bowen. Nice to see you again."
Yeah,
you'll never change.
No, he won't.
But that was an exciting scene, though, having everybody together. Like, I wanted a scene where they all kind of, like, bonded, but we got it where everybody was fighting.
Sabine and Rydstrom were there.
Yeah.
And, like, Nikolai at some point. I don't know if Miss was there, but Nikolai showed up.
She was.
She was?
She was when Malcolm was fighting. Like, he saw Nikolai and he just started fighting him randomly.
Yeah.
Mist was there with Carrow, and then
Conrad,
Bowen and Mariketta was there,
Naomi.
and then, everyone else, and Mist was there.
That was exciting to me. I was happy to see everyone together. I was like, yeah, this is fun. Because, like, I don't know. I always like those types of scenes where you get, like, past characters that come back and you get, like, a little glimpse into how they are.
It was good that we got to see, like, a mixture of all of them. Not just, like, the witches.
Yeah.
We got to see
and also Conrad.
Yeah.
I love him. Although now he's not going to be okay for a bit.
Why?
No, because, like, whenever he does, like, something like that, remember Mariketta was saying, like, he's not going to be right in the head for a while?
Oh.
Because, like, he got burnt, remember? And, like, I don't know, he needed Naomi, and then, like, he leaves, like, in a flurry because, he's just, like, going crazy at the moment, and then Mariketta's like, yeah, you won't get a hold of him.
But he
he's not
did
right
do
in the head.
it. To be honest, it made me like him more. I was like, all right, Conrad, you're pulling through for everyone here.
I love
You
Conrad. Leave
it.
my man alone, okay? I like the crazy ones.
I just love that we have different favorites. Like, it's not
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I love this series, because I feel like there's someone for everyone.
I mean, can we not talk about the fight between Sabine and
Carrow?
and Carrow? I was like living.
That was hilarious. And then I love when Sabine's like, we'll have a rematch once we're out.
Yeah.
And then Carol's like, you'll destroy me.
I was like, yeah, Sabine supremacy. This is how it should be.
Yeah.
Respect her.
I don't recall Marge or S. Was she was pregnant at the end of her book, right? Or was that
No,
just Holly?
that's Holly. I don't think. Oh, see, Kate and Holly weren't there. I'm just now realizing that they weren't there.
Well,
Are
they
they the
didn't
only
lose
ones?
anyone,
No,
right?
no, because Lachlan wasn't
And
there.
Emma.
Yeah.
Lucia, Gareth, pretty much all the werewolves except Bowen.
Gareth was there.
Gareth was there?
Yeah, remember he told Bowen, tell your wife to find your cousin first, McReeve.
Oh, that was a lot of them.
Yeah.
But they weren't
Yeah.
all there. Which is why Cressley Cole should write a fun little novella where it's like they're all sent together, like they all go on vacation together on some island, and just
Yes.
it's absolute
I would love
mayhem.
that.
They would
Like
destroy
everyone
each
fights
other.
everyone.
I also thought it was so adorable when like everyone was going to Malcolm and saying like, if you help me find this and this person, I'll give you money. And he's like, no, I'll do it without money. I don't want money. And then like Carrow pulls him aside and she's like, if you want to get into the family business, you need to
Yeah.
start accepting money.
Yeah.
And he's like, but no.
The witches are so greedy.
They
I love
are.
it. But it's not just the witches. It's literally the Valkyrie as well. They get paid to do things.
Sure. But like the
Um,
witches especially. I mean, we all remember Mariquetta asking for like $70,000 for like
Right?
one thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I was kind of confused at. I was like,
One
Mary
spell.
Ketta, girl, did they not already pay you in millions of dollars for,
Literally.
for them to bring back
Yeah.
Naomi? And then
Yeah.
he doesn't need to do this favor for you.
They're greedy. Of course
I
she's
love
like
it.
more money. And like they're already all freaking rich. It's not like they need it.
Yeah.
No one's like suffering in this
No.
world.
No. Although I think Malcolm is the only one that hasn't accumulated any sort of
Sure. Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
He will.
He
though.
did have riches and water, but like,
I mean,
Can't
he
really
married
bring no water
his
here.
sugar mama, I guess.
true.
So
True.
he's settled now.
So I have a question regarding that.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
they actually get married? Was there actually like a ceremony? Because he just starts
Mm.
calling her wife.
I think when he like acknowledged and claimed her in front of like his species of people, that was their version of a marriage, like on his
okay.
side. And then I think that's how they claim that they're husband and wife.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of saw it that way too.
Yeah.
What do you here's the thing though, because I was like, okay, so Malcolm goes like he's living in her world now, but like obviously it's really different for him, and like he
Mhm.
has like I was just like, what is he gonna do? Like what does a Malcolm do in our world?
Yeah.
And like I think she said he could become like a sort of like a hitman.
Yeah.
But like I was kind of sad for him because I was like he doesn't know anything. So like what is he going to do with his time?
yeah.
Do we get to see? Do we get to see him in like the future books?
I think you gotta. I think you see him briefly in Reagan and Chase's book. I'm not too sure. I don't really recall like his presence really, but I don't know. Like you said, I don't know what he'll do. Because even when they're at the cottage, this man was still digging up holes to like make traps and things like that. But when he's in New Orleans, you're right. What can he do?
Right? Like his only option is a life of death, of like killing people. Like that's a little sad.
But like, I mean, that's all he ever knew when he was in, his own world.
But he always
killing
he always
people.
saw himself as a killer. Like he never wanted to drink blood, in part I think because he just didn't want to be like his masters, and like he didn't want to be that person. I don't know, like I mean you said so yourself, like he's such a soft guy who turns out he really doesn't want to be violent.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, there was something about that I was like, he should just become a stay-at-home dad. That's what he should be.
He would be a good stay-at-home dad.
He was so adorable when he like saw Ruby and he's like, wow, okay, now I understand.
Yeah.
And like him and Ruby were so cute.
Oh my god, when she's like, usually I eat chicken nuggets, and he's like, what
Yeah.
is that?
Okay, I have the line here. So, okay, she was hungry, right? And then he's like, what do you usually eat then? she's like, I like dinosaur chicken nuggets, pizza sticks, tangelos, and organic juice boxes. Puzzled, he asked, are those things here?
It's so cute.
On the island.
And then I also love when, like, she just, like, slipped her, okay, I have the line here too. Ruby slipped her tiny hand into his. He gazed down in consternation, about to draw away. Why would this child do such a thing? I do not understand this. And then she peered up at him. Aren't we going? Though he felt a hint of uncomfortable tightness in his chest, he said, we are going, Dila. And he kept his hand in her hand in his grasp. And I'm like, this boy doesn't know what hand holding is. And, like, it's just... And the fact that Ruby just trusted him so quickly and, like, just
I mean, did she? I liked how at first she didn't like him, but then after all, like, she was like, should I be nicer?
So cute. For me, it's, like, always, like, the big, like, muscular, maybe quiet man paired with, like, a cute little child. I just love it.
Yeah, that does me in more than the soft guy, like the big scary man going soft for his love interest. Like, if he goes soft for a kid, I am done.
Same.
I'm done.
Same. So, what do you think the monster of the story is, girls?
So I think for Carrow, that was a real it's like she had emotional walls because of the treatment her parents, like how she, like, there's a line, it says, Carrow has an emotion-based power. She feeds off happiness specifically, but she can't seem to generate it herself. She's always thinking about how to find more. Like someone on a diet will always be thinking about food. And I thought that was really interesting because it's like she was never, until the end of the book, she was never able to generate her own happiness to feed her powers. She always had to take it from other people. And I thought that was interesting because I was like, okay, so there's definitely something here with, like, how her parents, what am I trying to say? Like, they kind of were not emotionally available to her. And similarly, it's like she's not emotionally available to herself.
No, I see that as her monster. I'm trying to remember, at the end, do they ever, like, specify that she could start generating her own power?
She does. Like, at the end, it says, at the end, once she calls her parents at the end. No, sorry. She doesn't.
I was like, wait.
She decides to stop calling. She's like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm letting go of this idea of them that I have in my head that they're just never gonna live up to, because they're always gonna disappoint me and make me feel like shit. And once she lets go of that, she suddenly can generate her own happiness and feed her powers that way. So that's like, literally, she's now able to move on from it and, like, use it. So it was clearly what was holding her back, what was, causing her to not be, like, fully as powerful as she could be, because she always had to depend on the joy of other people.
Did they explain or what exactly were her parents? Were they witches as well?
I think they were, but, like, nobility. Like, they didn't put any emphasis on them being magical, because they didn't even want her to go to school, like, spell school. So I don't think they really cared about their own powers.
What do you think, Seth?
For me, like, I didn't think as deeply about Carrow's character as you did. Like, I didn't really see her as having a monster.
I didn't think about it very deeply either, but you know what I mean?
No, but I think what you said was really important. I think it was a really good point in terms of her character and her character growth, and what stunted her own character growth, I think. And then once she let that go, she was able to be fully herself, and I think that was really her own journey of the story. Whereas for Malcolm, I think it's like, the stereotypical, like, his monster is his past. I mean, like, his constant betrayals, being tortured and brutalized his whole life. He was sold by his mother as, like, a child and then thrown out when he got too old by his master. And even after, when he returned to his mother, she tried to kill him. So, like, that constant betrayal is there. Like, that fear is at the back of his mind. Like, that fear is grown because of his past. And when Carrow betrayed him, he literally shut down and he really couldn't trust her. And, like, that whole that whole struggle of like forgiveness versus like forgetting. Like, you know, it's hard to forget something. You can forgive something, but you can't forget it. And I think he was struggling with that idea of like forgetting what happened and also moving forward and trusting her. And like that was his kind of his own form of monster, because like that distance between him and Carrow kept growing and growing to the point where, like, you know, you didn't know how it was going to get better. Even Carrow was like, I don't know how this is going to work out. But yeah, he had to see proof of her love and desire for a life with him, and that was the only way for him to kind of drop his fear of her ever betraying him again. But yeah, I think his was like the fear of betrayal constantly being there.
Yeah, and I also think on a more like surface level, there was also the physicality of relationships, in the sense that like he says at one point in the beginning, like touching means using.
Yeah.
So I do think that that was part of it too, of like learning that there are others, like there's other reasons why someone would touch someone. Like it's not always meant to be evil, or it's not always with the purpose of using someone.
Yeah. And I think he went back to that after the betrayal of like ending back with the order, and then, you know, they're at the cottage. Like he actually doubted every single good action she did, every kind word
and he
thrown
used
his
her.
way.
He used her. He used his own fear and his own perception of that, of physicality with someone else, and he used her. He's like, she says multiple times, like he would just, I mean, for lack of a better word, fuck her against a tree and like and drink her blood, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like no, like he himself took the emotions out of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you know, clearly because he was trying to hurt her, and to him that hurts because that is how it was for him in the past. And so it's interesting, and I liked actually how Carrow didn't really, like, she wasn't really bothered by it. I think she understood why he was doing it.
Yeah.
So I did like that, how she didn't let it hurt her the way he was trying to.
And I also like that she didn't give up on him either. Like she didn't say, you know, this is too hard, I'm not even gonna try fighting for something that you don't even want anymore. Like she just stuck with it and knew that he was worth it, and he needed to know he was worth it as well. And yeah, I think he needed to see someone not giving up on him for once.
And I did like that she asked, like, straight up, will you ever trust me again?
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like oftentimes it's like, it's questions that as a reader you have, and then the characters never actually ask that.
Yeah.
But she did, and so you got your answer. I mean, he says no, and I think, I don't know, do you feel like that was a temporary no, or do you think that's a...
Yeah. No, I honestly think what he needed at the end of the day was for her to actually claim him, and for her to actually declare that she wanted a life with him, because he honestly just thought she used him. At the end of the day, he thought that he was a means to an end. He was just the reason or the way for her to get Ruby back and for her to get free. He never thought that he held value in her life. So I think the trust thing was going hand in hand with like being recognized as something more for her.
Do you think the memories helped him, seeing like her memories and stuff?
Actually, think that for once, I don't think it did.
No.
I think it gave him, I think at the beginning of the story, I think it gave him more of an understanding of her character. But I don't think it held any, like,
well, for the wrong reasons. Like, he thought she was a loose woman. Like,
no, he also
learned
about her as a child, her loneliness with her parents.
Okay, yeah, sure. Oh, I love this scene. Did I invent that? I don't think so. Does she actually say at one point, "You're doing to me what my parents did"? Okay, yes. Okay, I didn't, like, for a second.
No, you didn't make that up. And I love when he recognized that, shit, yeah, I am, but I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Did you have any monsters, S?
No, I think you girls covered it.
I like how Cressley Cole does trust, like, in the sense that it's not an easy thing.
No, it's not.
Most of her couples, like, she does come back to that theme a lot, and I think, I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, it's one of, if not the most important thing in a relationship. So I like that she's toying with it and, like, you know, puts the trust in trouble a lot of the time between these people.
And I think she does a really good job of bringing in realistic situations and problems such as trust, like you said, into a paranormal world. Like, it still feels like a real relationship that I'm reading about, despite them being a vampire, despite them being a demon or whatever. Like, I love how she deals with situations and, like, deals with conflict that are so realistic.
Yeah, but she also doesn't always confirm or deny whether or not trust is still an issue. Like, for you, for example, like, I remember when we did the Rystrom and Sabine episode, like, you were like, oh no, I'm sure that they went back home and, like, the artifact on the wall was, like, taken down, like, right away because there was no more trust issues. And, like, you kind of feel the same here, which I think is, like, a normal thing for a romance reader to, you know, think, because you're like, well, they got over their issues, they're moving on, and they're happy now. You know what I mean? But I also like that she doesn't necessarily fully answer that. You know what I mean? Like, she always has a moment in her books, or most of them anyway, where she questions the trust between these people, that and she never really says, oh, they're over it now, it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, but it's also not like, oh, it's still, like, very shaky. It's kind of like it's left up to your own perception of the story, I guess.
But I also think that brings a sort of realism as well, again, in terms of, like, real relationships and, like, the real world, I guess. I don't know, relationships aren't as clear cut. They're not like, as soon as you get married, you know, your trust issues go away, your conflict goes away. That's not how it works. Relationships are constantly evolving, constantly changing, problems always arise, and, like, the end of this book, as you said, we don't know if their trust issues have been, you know, eradicated. We don't know if they're gone. Just love Cressley Cole, man. Number one stan over here. All right, I think we're coming to the most dreaded part of the episode, ranking our males and females.
Wait, before we continue, what are your thoughts on Nyx? The little bit that we saw.
Right. Oh my gosh, I forgot to mention that.
Nyx has gone off the rails.
Yeah.
I think Nyx is done for. She's just, she wasn't really here, which is surprising. I mean, a little bit, but, like, she wasn't that present in this book.
Was she, though?
Well, I mean, I think it makes sense. Like, I think she's slowly descending into madness.
Yeah.
What did you think about Carrow's mention of, oh, I think I saw Nyx in the fall?
Yeah, I remember that part, and I was like, oh, wonder what she's doing.
She's Nyx, you know.
I just can't imagine anyone with Nyx. Have we met her guy? Yeah, no. The guy that
the guy that people
about?
think is her guy? No.
Yeah. No. She's kind of, she's not borderline insane. She is insane. Like,
yeah. Yeah, she's lost it.
Yeah. Well,
what did you think, though, S? Like, what did you think?
No, I noticed, I started noticing, like, little by little, she's starting to go more not crazy, but more manic, and, like, I saw it here, so I was just like, what the hell's happening?
Like, she wasn't making much sense to begin with, like, from book one, but I feel like she's making less and less sense, and, like, in her head, she's like I feel like she's more and more lost. Like, people are talking to her, and, like, she's not following at all what they're saying, which I think is interesting.
I think it could be due to the fact that the accession is probably right around the corner.
Yeah.
And it's like everything is happening at once, and, like, for her, you know, being a soothsayer, it's a lot to handle for one person.
But I mean, you would imagine that someone who sees the future would kind of go insane.
Yeah.
Like, how can you plus, like, because there's this huge event that's undergoing, you would think that she's probably questioning sometimes what is reality and what is the future.
Yeah.
And I think that she's at a part where that sort of like, the line between the two has been blurred a little bit, and I think that that's why she's, like, not following along when she's talking to people, and, like, oh, I thought we had this conversation 5 hours ago, why are you still here? And, like, it's like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
let's
rank people.
All right, who's first? So bottom up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, we're starting bottom up. That's the
bottom
hardest.
Up. Females. At number 10, we have Naomi. Number 9, Emma. Number 8, Danny. Number 7, Carrow. Number 6, Lucia. Number 5, Holly. Number 4, Mist. 3, Katerin. 2, Sabine. And 1, Mariquetta still holds number 1 spot.
Okay. For me, at number 8, there's Naomi. At 7 is Carrow. At 6 is Emma. 5, we have a tie between Daniela and Lucia. Then 4 is Mariquetta. 3, another tie between Katerin and Holly. 2 is Mist, and 1 is Sabine.
Surprise, surprise.
I want to be Sabine. Can I be Sabine? Like, I want to be her when I grow up, Mom. Also, I want to marry Rydstrom, so, like, you know, there's
That's
perks
the real
to being
reason you want to be
Sabine.
her.
I want his baby.
All right, S, let's hear it.
Okay. So number 10, Naomi. 9, Mist. 8, Katerin. 7, Sabine. 6,
Hold on
Emma.
the fuck up. What? Hold on. Mist
let
at
me
9?
Let me finish.
Did I hear that right?
Let me finish.
Okay.
6, Emma. 5, Carol. 4, Daniela. 3, Lucia. 2, Holly. And 1, Mariquetta.
I mean, no judgment. Your list is your list. You do you.
Mist at number 9. Whatever did she do to you?
What did I have her last time?
Mist.
Wait, where was Sabine on your list?
Yeah, I don't even want to know where Sabine
I
was
think
on
it was
that
after
list.
Mist, right?
She was 7. They're all mixing together. My top 3 are Mariquetta, Holly, and Lucia.
Blasphemy of you to
Those are
say
my
that
girls.
Sabine
Those are my
mixes with
girls.
other people. That she's not the unique badass queen that she is.
She is.
At
I think that's
7?
what we should call this episode. Marge is Sabine Stan.
Yeah, number 1. Hello. Oh my god, I am very offended. My 2 favorite are very low on S's list, and this is cause for a fight.
This is.
All right, Seth, your men.
All right, my men. At number 10, a shock. Lachlan. Not really a shock. 9, Murdoch. 8, Sebastian. 7, Nikolai. 6, Garrett. 5, so this is where we get some change up. 5 is
6.
Cade. 4, can you stop with that?
No, I received judgment. You're gonna get judgment right back.
Okay. 4, Malcolm. 3, Rydstrom. 2, Bowen. And 1, still Conrad. Okay, go. Come on, hit me with your judgment.
Dear listeners, this podcast is ending today.
Why are you so shocked? Nikolai was always number 7.
Nikolai is 7 on your
He's
list.
always been 7.
No, he was not. Nikolai, guys, what are you doing to me? I'm
I'm sorry. It's just how I
am
feel.
straight up offended by this episode.
I just like Malcolm is baby. So he
Honestly,
deserved
I am not above editing this in a way that makes it look like Nikolai and Rostrom are like top of your lists.
So now we're gonna question the integrity of our episodes. That's nice to know, Mark.
You should, because I'm not above doing this. Like
Okay.
everyone's first pick is like Rydstrom, and it's like, ooh, what a surprise.
Rydstrom is in my top 3. I feel like that is pretty good.
All right, mine is 8 Lachlan. No, sorry, 9 Lachlan. 8 Murdoch. 7 Sebastian. Then in 6th place we have a tie between Conrad and Malcolm. Then 5th is Bowen. 4th Gareth. 3rd Cade. 2nd Nikolai. And 1st Rydstrom.
Surprise. I'm just like, see, this is why, like, now
I
I'm
have the
irritated
least
that
controversial
Conrad
list
and
of
even
us 3.
Malcolm.
I have the
Can you
least
let me
controversial
speak?
list of us 3.
Can you
Okay,
let me speak? Because
I
I
feel
did
like
not
our
speak over
friendship
you
is
when
gonna
you
end
were
because
trying to
of
prove
these
your
men.
point. I just,
Conrad
I'm
is
kind
not
of
low on my
offended.
list. Why are you mad about Conrad?
Because I love Conrad.
He's 6th on my list. That's
Exactly.
not bad.
Why is he 6?
Oh, girl, you're gonna hate my list.
Oh.
Ah, you know what? This is when Sephiroth logs off. Bye, guys. It's been a great episode.
Has it? All right, as.
All right. I'm going to mute you, though. Go ahead.
It's going to wreck me. I can just tell.
So 10 Murdoch, 9 Sebastian, 8 Conrad.
Oh, fuck you.
7 Malcolm, 6 Rydstrom, 5 Nikolai, 4 Lacklane, 3 Kadon, 2 Bowen,
is
and
Lacklane still so high up?
1
Right?
Garrett. Stop it! Leave my werewolf man alone.
What about Lachlan? I need you to like write a full
No.
essay.
Essay on
3
why
paragraphs,
you like
maybe
it.
5. Tell me
Leave
why
him-
Lachlan deserves 4th spot.
Yeah, I
Leave him
co-sign that. That's your homework. So who's your the last 3?
It was 3 Kadon, 2 Bowen, and 1 Gareth.
1 is Gareth? Really?
Yeah.
All right, I won't be
Him
mad
and
about
Bowen
that.
are my top. Gareth and Bowen.
I'll
They're
consider
my top.
myself the winner between Steph and I, just because my 2 favorite men are above hers. So.
I wish people can see our faces during
so
this section.
bitchy today.
Steph is
Steph
not
is
happy. you guys.
literally so mad.
All right. Well, this has been known as a Sephra podcast.
I can't wait till we get to Lothair's book
Oh my.
and we present a list.
10th
I'm
in 10th place,
interested.
Lothair.
I
Forget
would
about it.
literally, I would pass away. I would simply just pass away at that point.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, but if Lachlan, not Lachlan,
I would
well,
I would
Lachlan is
sleep
gone.
with my doors locked and my lights on if I ever
I will
said that,
find
because
your
she
house,
will come
Marge.
for me.
I will. And as you're gonna have to wait until the borders open up again, but I will come and find you. He needs to be
I'm
number
excited.
1, okay?
I think that's gonna be like the end of our friendship, or
Oh yeah.
so the podcast is gonna be witness to that.
Yeah, it kind of will be. Like, okay, I'm kind of worried about you because your top 3, like your top species, I guess, they're all like gay, so I'm kind of nervous.
For reals, are they? Gareth? No, Caden's a demon. Garrett's a werewolf? He's a Lycae?
Yeah.
Right?
He's your first and you don't
I
even know?
I forgot.
I question your
Your list, I don't think it's
Yeah.
valid. I don't think
Yeah.
it's valid.
No,
so
no,
you know,
stop.
scratch your
No.
list.
Tell me 3 things you like about Gareth. Go. I'm waiting.
Don't do that.
She's like,
Don't do
his
I
that.
mean,
his
I just
dick,
want to
oh,
make
and his
sure
dick.
because I question your list.
He's staying at number 1. Period. Let it go.
All right, Seth, tell me 3 things you like about your man. Your
Which
first
one, Conrad?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a sweetheart. He's so adorable. He gets a little crazy sometimes, but he calms down with his woman.
Okay.
Oh, I love it. I love Steph and her love for Conrad. I don't know. I love it.
But trust me, the list changes once we get to the next few books.
I mean, it's very telling though. Your first guy is a vampire. S's first guy is a Lycae, and my first guy is a demon.
Oh, right.
I just love that it's all different.
Yeah. I mean, do we? We love it and we hate it.
Yeah.
All right. Anything
Alright,
else? Any quotes? Any last thoughts? I love how we're evading the question of like, what is your Valkyrie name? I love how we're constantly just pushing that to later.
Because weren't we gonna ask like other people to help us with that? Because I don't know. I can't compliment myself. It's not something I can do.
Actually, I have mine, and mine is Marjorie of the Superior Taste is my name.
Girl.
How about
Stop.
Marjorie the shit taste?
No, definitely superior.
No,
have to
I think
say.
you're the shit taster.
The truth teller is my name. I am the truth. I am the authority. That is what I am.
Yeah, no.
All right. So before this episode becomes the third World War, we're gonna end it here. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a bit of a shorter one this week.
Shorter. We're at like over an hour.
I mean, it's short according to our standards. All right.
True.
And you can find us on social media at Romancing the Monsters Podcast on Instagram, as well as the RTM Pod on Twitter. Or you can also email us if you want to at romancingthemonsterspodcast@gmail.com. And you can find me on both Twitter and Instagram at Foes and Lovers.
And you can find me S on both Twitter and Instagram at But This Book.
And you can find me, Seth, on both Instagram and Twitter at Pros with Wobes.
All right, and I hope you will join us next week. You can check our social media to find out what we're reading, because we don't know.
We don't know yet.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.